Hello, YouTube and X. It's your main man, BTM here, bringing you back to the BTM Crypto News Network. So thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and super chat. So from the news updates, not a whole lot going on today. And I've been pretty busy most of the morning, so I really haven't had a lot of time to check anything, but just giving you our Friday update. We made it. So thanks for joining. Thanks for supporting the channel. And let's see what we can find. I'm actually washing my hat for XRP, so I had to run the Cowboys today. Just trying to realize there's nothing there. But let's see here. Shout out to Silver Days. Thanks for joining BGM Crypto News Network. Let's go. XRP. Smash the like and subscribe. Thank you, Silver, for starting off the show. Let's get to it. Let's start the screen share and see what we can see. So first off, this is Caleb and Brown. Sure, you know by now, Caleb and Brown is a crypto brokerage that helps you with 24/7 live support with an actual person and helps you out on your crypto journey. Also gives you a one-on-one broker. You talk to the same person all the time, which I think is very useful. You don't have to start over. You don't have to re-explain. You can pretty much pick up where you left off. So they give you a lot of help in understanding that way as well. And just in general, helping you along your crypto journey. Also, Caleb and Brown will be a sponsor at the crypto Vegas event in the end of April and May 1st. So big shout out to Caleb and Brown. If you're looking to sponsor somebody, always holler at your boy. We'll be here waiting and hoping and trying to see what is going on. So let's go over to the bubbles. On the bubbles, sorry about the chips, guys. On the bubbles, looks like Strong holds up 12.6%, down 0.6 on the hour, up 3.7 on the week. For the month, down 24.8 or 28.4. I got 24. 28.4 and down 49.3% on the year. Cosmos Atom is down up 3%. Ethereum is up 1.2% on the day. Sorry about that, guys. Running late, trying to make up for lost time. XBT's up 3.1. AVAX is up 2.7. Organized down up 1.7. Get is up 3.8. FET is up 3.7. Ondo's up 2.3. Bears up 4.7. Hashtags up 0.8. World Mobile Token is up 1%. I thought it'd be doing more than that today, but I guess not. %3 on the day. Ethereum Classic, which I was reading about mining. Ethereum Classic is up 4.9 on the day, 1.5 on the week, down 26.6 on the month, and down 58.5 on the year. Litecoin's up 4.8. ZBCN is up 2.7. Shout out to the ZBCN Army. Canon Network is up 4.7. Cardano 80A is up 3.8. Link's up 4.3. Helium is up 3.4. Binance is up 3.4. Ton is down 2.2. Jupiter is up 6.1. Jasmine's up 2.5. Caspa is up 2.6. Excuse me. CVX is up 0.6. Excuse me. ZK is up 2%. POW is up 2%. XLM's up 1%. Trump token, official Trump coin, is up 4.4 on the day, 3.9 on the week, down 28.2 on the month, down 78.8 on the year. H bar is up 1.6. XDC is up 0.8. XLM is up 1%. XRP, our favorite payroll processor, up 0.6%, down 0.4 on the hour, up 0.2 on the week, down 28.1 on the month, and down 47.4 on the year. Not financial advice, just for entertainment purposes, but seems to be a pretty good time to jump on in. Come on, guys, the water is wet. Waiting for you guys to jump on in. Let me know what you think about that as well. Ingest is up 3.8. Safe is up 6.9. PIF is up 2.4. Near's up 4.4. Radiant is up 3%. Telecoin's up 2.4. Swarm is up 1.9. Cubic is up 2.2. Prime's up 2.2. Looks the market as whole is up. Sui's up 4%. Flux is up 2.7. Check out the big boys. Bitcoin is up 0.9 on the day to 67,676. For the week, it's down 1.6. For the month, 24.8. For the year, 31.1. Let's see what else is going on here. Oh yeah, Ethereum is up 1.1 a day, 0.1 on the hour, down 3.8 on the week, down 34.8 on the month, down 28.3 on the year. And we'll look at Solana. Solana's up 3% on the day to $84.41, down 0.6 on the hour, up 0.1 on the week, or down 0.1 on the week, down 35.3 on the month, and down 51.7 on the year. Going to go to a real quick video trying to figure out why this is not staying connected. See, I thought I had a short in here somewhere. That's weird. Maybe not. So let's see. I guess we'll keep pushing. Let me see. Trying to see if there is a quick little short on today. I think the government did shoot down the part where they were trying to get the legislation passed for the not the tariff. The tariff legislation got shot down from what I saw in an article previously. And doesn't seem to be a whole lot of videos going on today, which is weird. On this Friday, a good Friday, I guess people are out moving around. Nobody's at home. making or reporting any updates as of yet. Okay, here's something quick. Let's see what this is 3 months ago though. Oh, come on. I guess the filter doesn't work. Multiple updates at the same time. Let's see what this guy's talking about. It's a quick update, real.
XRP is lighting up the charts with over 1.23 billion in ETF inflows, igniting a rally and sending price predictions soaring to $2.40 to $2.60. The buzz is real and the whales are moving. Will XRP smash through resistance or stall out? This is where fortunes are made. If you're loading up on XRP, comment XRP below, or hit no if you're waiting it out. Don't miss the rocket here.
Cái đèn vàng luôn đi anh. Thì
video I just seen up, but I gotta figure out what happened to the video. That's weird. Video's acting kind of slow today. Literally just found this quick video. That's weird. Okay, here it is. So this is a bear price prediction.
So, quick look at XRP then on our daily time frame. As we can see, looking like we are currently in a bit of a situation where we are actually holding bullish for XRP and looking a bit more bullish than Bitcoin. You can see here we have obviously come down to an incredible 112 here, bounced all the way back up, inversed these gaps, as you can see, come back down and actually held this external gap as well, come back up, and actually looking like we could start putting in some bullish market structure here and actually respecting some bullish PD arrays. You can see we've come up and actually swept out this first trend line that we see that you can see here. That was pretty obvious to me that we were going to come and hit. We're coming and swept that first trend line and having a bit of a back test right now, getting dragged back by Bitcoin, as you can see, looking with the weaker of the two assets in the correlation at the moment. But overall, XRP here basically just looking like it's trying to get some relief, but Bitcoin's dragging it back down, just like the rest of the altcoin space. Altcoins looking slightly, in terms of the basket here, stronger than Bitcoin. I think because they were already so far down from where they were when Bitcoin started crashing, because they were already struggling. They actually didn't have as much juice in them to go to the downside. You can see Dogecoin, SHIB, Pepe, and a few others here had a little bit of a relief rally compared to Bitcoin, which is quite flat at the minute. XRP right now looking a little bit stronger than Bitcoin, but we're going to have to wait and see if Bitcoin can give us the relief that we want. Like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, let me know your thoughts, check back for daily updates, and get yourself some free money in the description below. Cheers.
So shout out to Crypto Maximist. So over to an article. This is Ripple spent nearly $3 billion on acquisitions, on how each could boost the XRP price. Ripple spent $3 billion on acquisitions and since 2023 to build institutional infrastructure spanning custody, prime brokerage, treasury tools, and stablecoin payments. Many payments flow treat XRP as a temporary bridge asset held for seconds during settlement, limiting lasting impact on circulating supply despite value increases. XRPL expansion creates internal competition. The stablecoin offers payments without volatility, and Ripple payments can operate without XRP in some cases. Finally, you can open SoFi Crypto, access 25 plus cryptocurrencies without juggling apps. Ripple's acquisition totaling $3 billion since 2023 has expanded the company beyond payments into custody, brokerage, and treasury tools, stablecoin infrastructure. Ripple's goal is to build financial rails and make XRP essential to institutional operations. But Ripple's acquisitions won't move the XRP price overnight. Infrastructure takes time to translate into real demand. Nevertheless, each acquisition adds a trust layer that would drive XRP's demand and usage over time. The question is which acquisition matters the most and which would have real influence on the XRP price. So the 3 billion acquisition timeline, Ripple started with custody infrastructure and moved forward full scale financial integrations. The first major deal came in May 2023. Ripple acquired Medico, a Swiss custody provider trusted by Citi. What is that? BNP, Parmalis, and BBVA for 250 mil. In June 24, Ripple added Standard Custody, a New York Department of Financial Services regulated trust company, gaining licensed U.S. custody capabilities. The pace of Ripple acquisitions picked up in 2025 with Hidden Road joining April for 1.25 billion, bringing prime brokerage services that clear roughly 3 trillion annually. Rails followed in August for 200 million, added stablecoin payment rails and cross-border business flows. G Treasury closed in October for $1 billion, expanding treasury management for Fortune 500 clients. Palisade joined in November, adding a wallet as a service technology for fintechs. The total disclosed spending was roughly 2.7 to 3 billion. Ripple says total ecosystem investments exceed 4 billion with a B, when including strategic partnerships and smaller deals. So we went on to Medico, 250 million bank grade digital asset custodies, standard custody, price undisclosed, weird. New York licensed digital asset trust, Hidden Road, 1.25 billion, prime brokerage and clearing, Rail, 200 million stablecoin payment infrastructure, G Treasury, 1 billion treasury managed system, and Palisade, November 25, undisclosed, wallet as a service custody. What each Ripple acquisition brings to XRP. Hidden Road. Ripple acquisitions cover custody, brokerage, treasury, and payments. Each one adds up a different path for institutional XRP usage. Hidden Road, 1.25 billion. Hidden Road clears roughly 3 trillion annually for over 300 institutions. Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin now serves as collateral across its prime brokerage products, which means faster settlement and more activities following through the XRPL. As volume shifts on chain, XRP gets used for transaction fees and liquidity. And that's where the money is, guys. Transaction processing. I was telling somebody else, they're talking about businesses, and as businesses go, right, you want something that will give you residual, right? Like subscription based things or something where people pay you monthly or pay you per transaction, per delivery, per action or per update, right? Something where you're getting paid on a consistent basis that increments, right? Something that's going to add up over time. As more institutional traffic means steadier demand, which could eventually ignite and spike the XRP's price. Medico gives major banks secure infrastructure to hold digital assets without building systems internally. Citi, BBVA, and DBS already use it. When custody is easy and compliant, institutions are more likely to hold XRP long term instead of just holding in and out. Rail connects businesses' payments directly to RLUSD, bringing stablecoin transactions onto the XRPL. With every transaction burns XRP and network fees. The model targets large-scale B2B payments where speed and automation matter more than price speculation. G-Treasury connects corporate finance systems to digital assets, allowing firms to manage cash, XF exposure, and settlements along XRP and RLUSD. When Treasury teams can move on chain directly, XRP becomes a operational tool, not just a trading asset. Palisade and Standard Custody serve as fintechs and digital native firms, broadening access beyond large banks. Combining with Metco, Ripple now offers custody options for institutions of all size. More custody access means more capital can hold XRP securely, which supports long-term network growth. The gap between Ripple acquisitions and the XRP price. Ripple's acquisition strengthens the network's infrastructure, but that doesn't mean the XRP price flows immediately. Building financial rails takes time, and XRP's demand depends on how those systems get used in practice. Bridge use limits long-term XRP holdings. Many payments flow treat XRP as a temporary bridge asset. Banks buy and sell within seconds, complete transfers, leaving no long-lasting circulating supply. Volume can increase without holding. Increasing infrastructure boosts utility, but if XRP is only held for seconds during settlements, the price pressure stays limited. XRPL creates internal competition for XRP. RLUSD growth expands activity on the XRPL, but stablecoins offer payments without volatility. Ripple payments can operate without XRP in some cases, which means less forced buying for the token. XRP still powers the network fees and liquidity, but RLUSD may take over roles investors expected XRP to dominate. Integration takes time. Ripple's deals won't turn into adoption overnight. Hidden Road acquisition closed in late October 25, and its full XRPL integration spans multiple quarters. G-Treasury and Palisade still face rollout regulatory steps and institutional test systems before scaling volume. The XRP price will likely lag until usage data shows real demand. And that's what I was telling people as well. With the acquisition, just because you buy it doesn't mean you're going to roll it in the same day. It's going to take time. Ripple's acquisitions build long-term structure for ecosystems, but the effect on the XRP price demand, rolling out timing, real usage, we expect the impact to come in stages. Near term Q1, Q2 2026, Hidden Road's integration with the RLUSD and XRPL post-trade systems should be the first measurable catalyst. RLUSD recently crossed 1.5 billion in market cap, and if reaches 2 billion and daily transactions climb towards 50 million, it would mark an early evidence infrastructure is driving on-chain demand. Mid-term H2 2026, the midterm phase depends on the G Treasury onboarding corporate clients and banks expanding custody offering. If a large institution still holds XRP alongside their operational balances, the demand price changes. Treasury integration moves XRP into corporate workflows, and post ETF allocations could mean longer holding periods instead of quick trades. Long term, 2027 and beyond. By this stage, custody, brokerage, and payments could work together as one system. Large scale clearing volume and customer expansion would keep XRP ledger active. RLUSD growth and stable regulatory framework would reinforce network activity, with XRP benefiting through fees and liquidity demand. Price outlook in 2026: bullish, base, and bearish cases. Bullish case $3 to $5. Base case $2 to $3, and bearish $1.20 to $1.85. Interesting. So moving over to the BTM Crypto News Network on X, this is Ripple execs Reese Maverick says Dubai's land department has launched phase 2 of its real estate tokenized project, enabling controlled secondary trading of tokenized properties on the XRP ledger. Wake up, shady entities are paying creators to call XRP a fraud while pumping Bitcoin. The corruption is deep. They're terrified of the XRP revolution and want to trick you. Don't fall for the paid lies. Stay strong. XRP is unstoppable. So shout out to Wendy on that one. 11 companies are stacking XRP to their treasury. Fintech, transport, and tech leads the list. 2 billion plus worth is no longer trading on the open market. So you got Evernorth 1.1 billion, Fidelity 500 million, Webbus 300 million, Venno Power 121 million, Logistics 50 million, Reliance Group. Why do I know that name? Reliance Group, Global Group. It sounds familiar, actually. 17 million. Hyperscale Data 10 million. Gummy 5 million. Work Sport 5 million. BC Bud Company 250K, and Digital Communications 220K. I have to come back look some of these companies up. And we read that article about Ripple and the 3 billion acquisitions. XRP maintains that a micro bullish structure despite deepened correction. Price test lower levels but remain above key support, keeping the uptrend intact. A 5-wave advance and a hold above the 200-week MA keeps the bullish case alive. Read more. I might check that out. I want to get to this one now. Rumors Brad Gensinghouse will be the next crypto czar for President Trump. What? It's weird. They didn't give you the article. Well, you see how they trimmed it out? There's no article here. Ripple CEO Brad Gensinghouse, which that's kind of weird, is said to be leading candidates to take a seat at President Trump's cryptocurrency advisory board, which will be chaired by White House AI and crypto czar David Sachs. Captains of the industry and other are in a scramble to get on the panel. Everybody and their mom is begging to be on this panel, I'm sure, because if it pops, you'll be in the right place at the right time, right? 200 million XRP left Binance over the last 10 days, and supply ratio dropped from 0.027 to 0.025, showing potential accumulation after 40% year-to-date correction. Waiting for a refund so I can dump into XRP. What up, JoJo? End of day reminder, this XRP news is still the #1 story in crypto. This is XRP's news. Ripple director drops a big warning. According to managing director for MENA, both XRP and XRPL are actively being used by Ripple. Everyone will use this technology. If enterprise, banks, governments integrate the stack the way Ripple is signaling, the implications for XRP liquidity and demand could be massive. This is a huge for all XRP holders.
Of this technology, because quite frankly, XRPL is and XRP is the and now RLUSD is the digital asset and blockchain that we Ripple build our products over, basically because it was built for payments. You know, if the payment settles, XRP settles in 2 to 3 seconds, you know, that's a benefit to someone moving funds cross-border. We hope and we believe that institutions, financial institutions, individuals, everyone will adopt this technology because quite frankly, it was built to move value in real time. And that's exactly what, as I said, the demands of the people want today. Lovely.
Reese Merrick, the managing director of the Middle Eastern and North African region for Ripple. This guy right here just dropped a huge warning on XRP, the XRP ledger, and the RLUSD stablecoin. Reese Merrick just dropped a huge warning for all of you that hold XRP. In this video right here, he speaks about the importance of XRP and why Ripple chose XRP, why it chose to build on the XRP ledger, and how XRP is being used right now today for many different things. How he hopes the entire world will adopt XRP very soon because XRP was designed for faster payments to serve the entire world. According to this guy right here, he is one of the top directors, top managers at Ripple. And in this clip right here that I just played for all of you, yes, this is from a few weeks ago. And this clip right here is absolutely huge. It's very important if you hold XRP. The RLUSD stablecoin. Here is another clip of Reese Merrick speaking about the XRP cryptocurrency, why it's important, and why Ripple chose to build on XRP. Listen to this.
We always believe that people will see the benefits of XRPL in terms of the speed, in terms of the transaction cost being a fraction of a cent, and ultimately in time we'll see a lot of that volume move over and eclipse kind of what we have on Ethereum there. We're already kind of seeing that on the institutional side in terms of that real need to implement solutions which are going to serve businesses. So we recently, you may have seen, acquired a company called G Treasury. They have a treasury management solution. They have visibility of over $12 trillion of global businesses that are moving funds just between entities globally. And I can tell you the amount of interest we have had off the back of that announcement from these large enterprise customers to be able to utilize RLUSD as a method of moving and funding their businesses globally is astonishing. If you think at the moment, if you're a global business and you need to fund your company's operations for the weekend, you have to send a payment on a Wednesday, Tuesday, to ensure it's there on a Thursday or Friday to have that operational efficiency. With RLUSD, you can send it on a Friday afternoon. You can send it on a Saturday. It's 24/7, 365 days a year, sorry. And I think that's where really we're going to unlock a lot of growth across the whole industry because, like you mentioned, it's going to be the standard. The demands of the people today are very different in terms of having those bound by local rails, by the 9 to 5 kind of banking world, and moving on to crypto and digital assets is going to solve a huge amount of those pain points. So yeah, we see a lot of, we're very optimistic on the growth there.
Ripple chose XRP for a bunch of different reasons, and XRP with its faster payments, 24/7, 365 payments, will solve a lot of pain points for the financial industry, for the banking industry, for normal people like you and I. XRP has a lot of value, a lot of different use cases that Ripple is using it for with the G Treasury acquisition. And there are so many different acquisitions, so many different products, use cases that Ripple can use the XRP ledger in, and the RLUSD stablecoin in. Yes, every time the RLUSD stablecoin is used, it's powered by the XRP ledger on the back end. So when we speak about the RLUSD stablecoin, we're also speaking about XRP benefiting from it as well. So if you hold XRP right now, show your support, smash a like button, share this video also because Reese Merrick.
Yeah, because that was the weird thing. People are saying that the XRP ale and the RLUSD will replace XRP, which is impossible, right? They work together. They're not going to replace it. It's just going to strengthen the XRP. 16 too many days ago, back over to X, just dropped some news. XRP community go live on a community day. Monthly XRP is upon us. 10% is returning to holders. I keep seeing that, but I don't see. First regulated DeFi protocol drops on the XRP ale. It gets 1,000 impressions. Either they have my algorithm suppressed and shadow banned, or no on gives a maybe no one. This is huge. Yeah, it's weird. It's a lot of stuff happening. Nobody's talking about it. I don't quite understand what is going on here. Has officially launched the RWA-backed yield protocol on the RLUSD, bring compliant yield-generated utility directly to Ripple RLUSD stablecoin. This isn't a theory anymore. This is real infrastructure, real capital, real demand, with the first million in vaults filled in under 22 hours. This confirms three critical things. XRPL native lending functionality is now live and being used. XRPL's gaining intermediate utility behind simple transfers. Soon capital will actively start flowing into yield opportunities on the XRPL. So let's go over this video real quick. I'm gonna bore you to death, but I want to get some information in as well.
Stand right now and touches on a whole lot more that you need to know about. Buckle up. Let's listen to this.
Brad Garlinghouse back with us. Brad, great to see you.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much for being here. So you predicted an 80% chance that this bill is signed by April, saying that clarity is better and obviously than uncertainty. And tell us where you get that expectation.
Well, I mean, to some degree, you can never predict exactly how Senate and Congress is going to act. But
unless you're in the prediction markets.
That's, we should talk about that too.
Yeah, let's talk about
it. Look, actually, the prediction markets around this point, around the Clarity Act, spiked because of some comments yesterday from Senator Moreno, who's been an advocate. I think it's now 90% it will pass by the end of April. I had said a couple weeks ago, I thought end of April. At the time, people thought that was a little optimistic. There's a meeting today with a lot of leaders on both sides, the crypto and banking, in the White House. Actually, it's in 30 minutes or so. Ripple's chief legal officer is representing kind of Team Ripple there. But the White House is pushing hard on this, and I think that is a big reason why it will get done. It needs to get done for U.S. leadership. President Trump has been a clear leader and put the stake out there that we need the U.S. to be the crypto capital of the world. That's good for U.S. competitiveness. And that leadership from David Sachs and Patrick Witt in the White House have been really critical around this.
So what's the Ripple position in the meeting today?
Our position is very much don't let perfection be the enemy of progress. No bill that gets to Congress or gets through Congress, no bill's perfect. And I think that it got stalled because I think some in the industry were kind of pushing for something a little bit more perfect. Our view is we need clarity. Ripple has been fortunate, and we got sued by the U.S. government and had a federal judge say XRP is not a security. We have clarity. Yeah. That's brilliant.
And you got that clarity in the Genius Act.
This is a topic that never gets old.
Ripple and XRP might already be sitting in a comfortable spot when it comes to regulation, while the rest of crypto is still scrambling to catch up. And Brad Garlinghouse pretty much confirmed that. In his mind, that's exactly where things stand. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If lawmakers keep dragging their feet on crypto legislation, who benefits the most? Ripple does. Brad's not going to flat out tell you that on camera, but if you listen closely, that's the message. But look, the man also has a bigger vision. He wants this whole industry to blow up in the best way possible. More companies building, more people getting hired, more cutting-edge tech rolling out, and especially banks jumping in on a level that would completely transform how money moves around the world. We're not talking about small upgrades here. This is ripping up the old playbook and starting from scratch. Picture all the stuff happening behind closed doors. The way money travels from your account to someone else's, happening instantly, costing next to nothing. The entire process of making a payment is going to look completely different from what we know today. And that makes you wonder, right? When all of this kicks in, how does the financial world actually function? I've been suspecting this for a while now, had that feeling in my gut, but Brad basically just confirmed what I was thinking. So now we know. Listen to this part.
We did get with the stablecoin market got that clarity in the Genius Act, but the industry, the crypto and blockchain industry in the United States needs the same clarity that Ripple had to fight for in the courts. And I think for this
that
industry,
XRP is a security.
the XRP is not a security.
Okay.
And that's what the courts ruled very clearly. And so we were very happy to have that. But the whole industry can't live in limbo. And so our argument is the Clarity Act, it needs to get done for the industry to thrive here in the United States.
So how do the rules differ when you're overseen by the CFTC, since the CFTC will oversee non-securities and the SEC will be in charge of securities?
Correct. So if something's a security, you have all kinds of obligations because if you own part of a company, it's a security, then you get dividends, you get right title and interest to governance rules, who you elect to the board of directors. That's not true in the crypto industry. And that's, I think, the false narrative that the Biden administration, the war that the Biden administration waged on crypto ultimately failed in the courts. And I think it failed the United States, failed the people of the United States. And I think trying to push it into a securities framework that was developed literally 80, almost 100 years ago, never made sense. And I think the courts have clarified that. And if we get the Clarity Act passed, I think the whole industry can continue to thrive here.
Very good. Meanwhile, we're talking about a pretty good sell-off in prices. Give us the impact on Ripple. I mean, when you see crypto like Bitcoin down, what, 50% from the highs, others down 40% from the highs. What's behind that and how has it impacted Ripple?
Well, look, I think one of the things is what we're talking about right now, the lack of clarity. And I think as the Clarity Act got pushed, stalled in late January, that certainly didn't help. Look, Ripple had a tremendous year in 2025, and we're starting 2026 in a really strong place because there's more interest from CFOs and treasurers and even boards of directors saying, hey, how could we be using these technologies to make our systems more efficient? Stablecoins, to me, are the starting line. That's where it starts. And it gives experimentation of, okay, now I can move my money 24/7. I can move it more inexpensively. And so stablecoins are the starting point, but blockchain and crypto infrastructure can really change payments broadly. We're seeing that from the Treasurer's office. We're seeing that around what we call prime.
Fox Business. Welcome back, everyone. Let's kicking off. Let me actually readjust this screen. Let's make sure it still looks pretty. There we are. Let's listen to this clip. This is Mike Novogratz on with Pomp talking about Bitcoin. Is it not working? It had a horrible year. What we need is a new narrative. Well, what could be Bitcoin's new narrative? It already failed as a currency. It's not going to be replacing the fiat currency anywhere around the world. It's a store of value like gold. I don't really think Bitcoin has that many narratives that it can fulfill. Listen to this clip.
Working. Are you selling Bitcoin? Are you buying Bitcoin? Are you worried about Bitcoin?
I put on green pants today because I'm trying to give good energy to Bitcoin. I almost wore an orange jacket. Listen, Bitcoin had a horrible year. And why do I think it happened? I think we crossed 100,000. We were the best performing asset over the last 5 years, 10 years, 6 years, 8 months. And it felt like we won the goddamn marathon. and we hugged. I even set a celebratory, Twitter to our entire client base. Guys, you did it. This community, I'm so proud of the community. And it's the first global brand that's ever been built by a community. It was a miraculous accomplishment. And I think that sigh of relief allowed this religious zealous, we got to do it. We got to build. We got to relax a little bit. And you started seeing, we had a $9 billion seller. You started seeing some whales sell, not in a mass wave. I had a friend that wanted to buy a sports team, so he sold some Bitcoin to buy a sports team or to buy a boat. Or everyone took a few chips off the table. Markets are about supply and demand and flow of funds. And as you had the ETFs and then the DATs coming in to buy Bitcoin, they were met with sellers. And once the buying stopped, it doesn't take a lot of buying to push it back the other direction, right? Markets find price based on the marginal buyer. And I think we put a low in at 60. I'm not 100% convinced, but I'm pretty convinced. And so, yes, I've been buying some Bitcoin recently. I'm talking to a lot of people. They're all dabbling a little bit, but a lot of the old.
Sure. What up, Dave? What up, my brother? What up, Dave? What up? Silver is always in the house, bro. Silver is here when I am. That's crazy. It's my live stream. But big shout out to Silver and everyone joining today. People have been kind of busy, so not a lot of participation, but the market is looking on the up and up. We'll have to wait and see, but let's get back to it.
Guys don't have a lot of dry powder. And so what we need is new narrative. Warsh is going to cut rates. That'll be good. Market structure, I think, is going to pass, believe it or not. Not positive, but I think so. I literally got a call from Chuck Schumer 3 nights ago. He's like, damn it, we're going to get this thing passed. I was like, okay, boss, keep on it. I'm talking about the left and the right. What's crazy about market structure, and this says a lot about politics in the country right now.
We don't got dry powder. I think we all want some dry powder by these prices. Look, is this the bottom? As I said in yesterday's video, if you didn't watch it, I do believe that this is a local bottom, not the bear market bottom, but a local bottom within the $60,000 range. I do believe Bitcoin's going to have another run up into the $80,000 region before we see some altcoins start to push up as well. And I said this before, and I'll continue to say it because we will find a bottom on Bitcoin at some point during this year. I believe it's in the later half of the year, Q3, end of Q3, beginning of Q4, 2027. We will start reaccumulating, right? We will buy bottoms and then we will watch what happens before then. I think we go back up. I really do. Now, I'm not saying Bitcoin's going to make a new all-time high, but I think more money will enter the market. I think prices rise, and I think we get that altcoin rally we've been talking about for quite some time. Chad put this out, like, look, this is a good sign. Record ETF flows for 2026. This is a major sign. And I've told you, if your asset has an ETF, you're doing good. You picked the right one. If it doesn't have an ETF, hopefully it gets one down the line. But the ETFs are going to be the vehicles in which the institutions are going to be accumulating or buying by. The ETFs would be how your retirement funds and pension funds, how they are going to be buying. So the more money, as Mike Novogratz just told you, it's a supply plus demand thing. The more money that comes in, the more supply that gets eaten up, the more demand that causes. What happens when you get supply plus demand? Price is going to rise. It works like that for literally anything in this world. We talked about the COVID example of hand sanitizer. Supply plus demand issue. Price of hand sanitizer went up. Bitcoin, supply plus demand issue. The miners cannot mathematically or not electronically, but mathematically, I think that's the right answer. They cannot solve enough math problems to mine enough Bitcoin, right? Every 4 years, it gets harder and harder, less Bitcoin is getting mined. What are we seeing? A supply plus demand issue. Let me get this. This is very interesting. Stay with me on this. So Zeef, I think it's pronounced Zeef, he said XRP supply ratio on Binance is hitting a multi-month low, and so is the price at $1.40. When supply ratio drops, it means that XRP is leaving exchanges. Less selling pressure equals potential accumulation phase. He's like, all whales quietly loading up? The data says yes. You can't argue with data. Just like you can't argue 1 + 1 = 2. It's always going to equal 2. I don't care what you want to throw out there. 1 + 1 is 2. 2 + 2 is 4. 3 + 3 is, say it with me, 6. That's right. Look. The more XRP that comes off of the exchange, the better it is. And the more XRP that's leaving the exchange, it tells you that someone out there is accumulating it quietly because we don't know who they are, right? In accumulation from institutions, Possibly. Let's get back into another clip from Brad Garlinghouse on Fox Business.
Meanwhile, we're talking about a pretty good sell-off in prices. Give us the impact on Ripple. I mean, when you see crypto like Bitcoin down, what, 50% from the highs, others down 40% from the highs. What's behind that, and how has it impacted Ripple?
Well, look, I think one of the things is what we're talking about right now, the lack of clarity. And I think as the Clarity Act got pushed, stalled in late January, that certainly didn't help. Look, Ripple had a tremendous year in 2025, and we're starting 2026 in a really strong place because there's more interest from CFOs and treasurers and even boards of directors saying, hey, how could we be using these technologies to make our systems more efficient? Stablecoins, to me, are the starting line. That's where it starts. And it gives experimentation of, okay, now I can move my money 24/7. I can move it more inexpensively. And so stablecoins are the starting point, but blockchain and crypto infrastructure can really change payments broadly. We're seeing that from the Treasurer's office. We're seeing that around what we call prime brokerage services to provide liquidity. And Ripple, partly through some acquisitions we did last year, is in a really strong spot as we start the year. To your point about the crypto markets, XRP actually has been the best performing major crypto this year. It's down about 20%. ETH, for example, is down about 33%. And I think the more we demonstrate real practical utility using these technologies to solve real problems, the more you're going to see that play out in a positive way.
Let's go.
So what did Brad just say? What was the most important message? Utility. What are we lacking? And not just in XRP. What is every crypto out there lacking? Utility. If there is no utility, price can only go so high and so far. But once utility kicks in and the asset is being used over and over, day after day, and institutions and banks are buying it by the millions at a time as these ETFs are accumulating it, what happens? Supply. It gets less and less on the exchanges. Less supply, the higher the price goes. Keep listening.
Back to the acquisitions that Ripple has made, spending what, $3 billion on acquisitions since 2023. You've expanded it to custody, prime brokerage, treasury management, stablecoin payments, also launching a new treasury platform. How do you continue to scale this up? You had the $1 billion treasury deal aimed at deepening institutional integration. Brad, give us a sense of where the company goes next with all of these businesses now.
So Ripple has been very focused on how do we build bridges between what we've called traditional finance and decentralized finance, or crypto. And those bridges are kind of the core of where our products sit. What we found in buying a company in the treasury management services business, for example, G Treasury is the name of the company, now called Ripple Treasury, but they processed about, or orchestrated about $13 trillion of payments last year. Wow. 0 of those payments were crypto enabled. 0 of those payments were stablecoin enabled. And again, what we're seeing, they have over 1,000 customers, corporates that are using their technologies. What we're seeing is those treasurers, those CFOs, even the CEOs are pushing. They want to see how these technologies can make their systems unlock capital that's been trapped overseas, for example. So we're seeing that push. And now we have a great suite of solutions to introduce crypto to those. But today, again, there's 0 overlap between the crypto solutions and what G Treasury had in the past.
So 0 overlaps would explain your price action or the lack of price action, right? But that's going to change. They didn't just buy this company because they don't plan on integrating RLUSD. They don't plan on integrating XRP. What could be the holdup? Could it be the Clarity Act? Possibly. Think about it. Think about what happens when this company, when G Treasury, the whole suite of companies that they purchased, when that actually starts and it kicks in. Then we get this coming in over from the CME group. They're going to be launching 24/7 crypto futures and options trading on May 29th. This is another big deal. More money, more institutional money that is going to be entering the market. Folks, everything is starting together. It takes time. When you are dealing with banks and governments, I've told you this before, everything takes time, a very long time. Then we get to this, Bitcoin ETF flows. They signal $1.2 trillion shift. This is coming over to you from now, xrprightnow.com. It states in here, Bitcoin's dominance is increasing, signaling a shift away from altcoins. That's a good thing. Institutional investors favor Bitcoin due to its liquidity and safety, and altcoins face headwinds from selling pressure and token dilution. Let's go back to this initial point. As I said before, Bitcoin's dominance is increasing. Bitcoin may rise and it may take money out from altcoins. So they may suffer. We may get a little bit more pain in altcoins moving forward as Bitcoin starts to rise. But what happens when Bitcoin starts to fall and that money starts rotating in from Bitcoin to these altcoins? That is when the altcoin prices start to rise up. That is definitely what I am paying attention to. And I'm paying attention to this, the XRP Ledger exchange supply ratio. Look, out of all the cryptos out there, XRP is being brought up the most. It's being scooped up. We're watching it vanish in front of our very eyes. This means something. Brad Garlinghouse on Fox Business, what he is talking about means something. The Clarity Act is going to be passed. President Trump will make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. And Mike Novogratz says we need a new narrative on Bitcoin. Do we get one? What could that narrative be? That is what my eyes are on. And as always, my eyes, they stay on the prize. I hope you enjoyed. As always, hit that thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see all y'all.
So that was another video. Going to play about 6 more minutes and we got to pack it up. So let's see what else is out here. No. I guess we can play a couple minutes of this video. Run it back a little bit. Let's see what Oscar has to say here.
We do. We've got a very fractured opinion, but initially what it says, we know it's authored, the primary opinion, by the Chief Justice, and says essentially that this IEPA, this law that grants the president emergency powers, did not, it looks like by this first blush reading by Justice, the Chief Justice here, does not give him the power to levy these tariffs that he's levied. The part of this initial opinion says, the words regulate and importation, the president says that gives him the independent power to impose tariffs on imports from any country, any product, any rate, any time. These words, it says, cannot bear such weight. We know we've got a dissent by Justice Kavanaugh, by Thomas and Alito, it looks like. And those were the three we thought during the arguments, if anyone would be persuaded to allow the president to move forward with these tariffs, they would be the ones to do it. So at first blush, like I said, there are multiple parts and concurrences to this opinion, but it looks like what the primary holding is going to be is that these tariffs cannot be used in the way that the president had tried to use them.
Dude, Chuck Schumer, Warren, Newsom, everybody, U.S. Supreme Court on tariff refunds. The refund process is likely going to be a mess. Now, I've been listening to the Treasury Secretary, of course, Bessent, and they have a plan. They were preparing for something like this. So this is nothing new for the Trump administration. And how is this impacting crypto? Why are we talking about it? Well, because not a bad time to buy the dip, of course, to get more cheap XRP, right? But check the reaction of what the market is doing right now. 1%, 5%, 3%, 6%, 4%, 6%. So immediately, we are seeing some relief. And if we go to the top, last 24 hours, we have a few that are in the double digits. So that's pretty nice. Kind of like I saw the market. I mean, we're not crashing with the news because if you recall, when he started releasing and imposing tariffs, the price collapsed with China, the 100%. I mean, and all of that. We had October 10. It was nasty for the crypto space, but now we're seeing how things are getting a breather. Now issue an immediate refund to all Americans for your illegal tax. Supreme Court rules that this is not legal, right? I mean, this is not gonna be fine for for UN, it was a decision 6-3. So 6 court justices, right? They decided to vote against this, right? The U.S. now faces $150 billion in potential tariff refunds. That's not good, right? Here it is, 6-3 ruling. So I want my money back. I want my money back. It's crazy. We're not going to get any money back. Somebody said, I mean, because it's everywhere right now, everywhere. A victory for the wallets of American consumers, enough chaos and the trade war. President Trump says he has to do something about it, court, about the courts after, the rule against tariffs right now, breaking. He nailed it. Neither the statutory text nor the Constitution provide a basis for ruling against the president. Yeah, I mean, we were trying to watch, actually, if you don't know, we were ready to listen to the governor's breakfast, but the president just said, media, press, leave. And I'm like, okay, because, I mean, everybody was ready to listen and watch this, but no, maybe he had anticipated the decision and he didn't want any questions about the tariffs because that's breaking news. That's what everybody's talking right now. Everybody's talking right now. Somebody posted this one, Nicolas Fuentes. Midterm defeat guaranteed.
This latest headline coming in from the Supreme Court, global tariffs struck down by the Supreme Court.
Yep, so today was going to be the fate of whether or not Trump's IEEPA tariffs, which about 60 to 75% of the tariff policy right now in the United States is based off of, and the Supreme Court making this decision, a redhead across the Bloomberg terminal, Trump's global tariffs are struck down by the U.S. Supreme Court. So this means that the Supreme Court has decided that using IEEPA, which this administration has done when it comes to the fentanyl tariffs and it comes to reciprocal tariffs for other countries, using IEEPA is illegal. Now, given that we are in the financial community, a lot of people may be thinking, does this mean we will not have tariffs? That is not the case. This administration has talked about Plan B. Now they're going to enact tariffs using other policies via USTR and the Commerce Department. But using IEEPA, the Supreme Court is saying that this was illegal.
Boom. I mean, that's why you have 3 powers of government, right? Supreme Court, President, Executive, and the Legislative Congress, right? SCOTUS wants tariffs to be refunded. Are they going to refund billions in tariffs? They're not going to do that. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible to refund billions in tariffs either. But with nothing else going on and the tariff mania going down, I think we're good for crypto. If not, we'll have to wait and see. Looks like the market's responding well. But as always, guys, let's get back to the money and stay dangerous. Miner out.